Welcome back to Chicago. This the 353rd consecutive sellout, going back to their days at Chicago Stadium. And tonight for the New York Knicks, who have lost 2 straight, 5 of the last 7 on the road. Look at the starting lineup. Derek Harper and John Starks in the backcourt. Both have had their shooting difficulties, in particular John Starks. And on the front line, Patrick Ewing, Charles Smith, and Charles Oakley again giving it a shot with that dislocated toe. And the coach of the New York Knicks, Pat Riley, a man who's taken his teams to the NBA Finals 8 times in 12 years, winning 4 NBA championships with the LA Lakers. For the Chicago Bulls, in the backcourt, the combination of B.J. Armstrong and Ron Harper. And Harper has been on the disappointing side to this point. Up front for Chicago, Will Perdue making it back from a broken nose. He had missed 4 games. Scottie Pippen, who is off to a strong start. And the rookie from Providence College, Dickie Simpkins. So there you have the starting lineups. And there's Phil Jackson in his 6th year as coach of the Bulls. One of a select group, one of 10 people to win a championship as a player and as a coach. The officials, Bob Delaney, Steve Javie, and Nolan Fine. Friday night, here at home at the new United Center, the Bulls beat Indiana convincingly 116-92 after losing to the Pacers in Indianapolis, while the Knicks last played Thursday night at Madison Square Garden. They blew a 16-point first half lead and lost to Cleveland 93-90, although the Knicks shot 53% from the field. The Bulls controlling the opening tip. Harper's pass picked off by Smith. Starks hearing it from the crowd right at the start. And here's Charles Smith.
Well, the New York Knicks want to establish an inside game, and they will look for Charles Smith in transition at every opportunity. Other than that, they're going to try to punch it into Ewing.
Simpkins way off on the follow, and Harper has a 3-on-2 development. Harper had it knocked away by Simpkins.
Well, historically, this Knicks ball club, going back to last season and especially late in the playoffs, always looking to run fast breaks, as many as they can get early in the ball game. They'll do it for maybe a quarter, and then it seems to wane as the game goes on.
Yes, not too much running recently as Oakley is able to hit. The Knicks, strange as it sounds, because they have not been noted for running right throughout a game, opened the season the first 3 games looking to run, but that ended very quickly.
Well, that's the way they played in the preseason without Ewing. Once Patrick out there, things change.
Ron Harper, who's been trying to find the touch. So the Knicks with a 4-2 lead. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks, who did have a good one on Thursday against Cleveland. 5 of 10 from the field, 17 points, looking to distribute the ball, played well defensively, able to hit on his first attempt. Pippen not able to put it down. Good hustle though. Pippen got it back. Pippen with much room. Fires. Yes. 3-pointer for Scottie Pippen.
And Scottie took all kinds of time to find out exactly where he was on the floor and made sure both feet behind the 3-point line.
The Knicks 7 and the Bulls 5. The Knicks have hit their first 3 shots. Ewing for Oakley. And Starks gets to it on the back tap. And then off the screen, Armstrong pushes it down. Harper with room. And it's rebounded by Ewing. We are just underway at the United Center in Chicago. Charles Smith on the tip, and the Knicks with a 9-5 advantage.
Well, he blew by Scottie Pippen on the first drive, just did not take enough time to finish on the play.
And Scottie Pippen hits the 3 again. The Knicks 9 and the Bulls 8. The Knicks have lost 4 in a row, 6 of the last 8. But what is most disturbing to Pat Riley, they faltered going down the stretch. Air ball thrown up by the one-time Chicago Bull, Charles Oakley. The last 2 games, they had the lead against Cleveland and New Jersey, but blew it in the second half. Here's the mismatch, and the Knicks have had all kinds of problems with big guards being isolated, but Pippen gave it back. Harper not able to hit the 3.
And right away, Charles Smith coming down to double team and help John Starks. Something the Knicks were not doing in the early part of the season. They have made a commitment to start doing it now. They've gotten burned too much.
Loose ball foul is called on the Knicks.
A Tex Winter telling me before the ball game that a big key for Chicago is the shooting of Scottie Pippen. When he shoots 48 or close to 50%, the Bulls generally play well. That time he made sure he's behind the three-point line, and here just eyeing the rim as the defense not coming up on him. And now normally Scottie Pippen does most of his damage going to the basket. When he starts making his jumper as well, he's very dangerous.
And Pippen has hit 2 of 4, both three-pointers. The Knick foul was called on Patrick Ewing. Pippen trying to get it to Purdue. Starks with the steal. Hopper putting the move. And Derek Hopper is able to go around Ron Hopper to give the Knicks an 11-8 lead. Pippen for 3 again. Scottie Pippen from downtown for the 3rd time this first quarter, and he's tied the game at 11.
And right away, Pat Riley going to his bench right now to Anthony Mason, not happy with the way that Scottie Pippen has gotten off.
Good look from Oakley to find Smith, and the Knicks now lead by 2. Yes, Anthony Mason getting set to come on. Will Purdue playing with the protective mask because of the broken nose. Hopper with a nice move to unleash the jump shot. Derek Hopper started the season in very strong fashion. Recent games did not shoot well, and he's off to the fast start here. Foul is called on Starks. John Starks not a popular figure here in Chicago.
John has gotten himself into early foul trouble in a lot of games in the early part of the season with the hand check. That time it wasn't a hand check. He just came up and hit Ron Harper in the head. In clear view of the officials, and Mason has come in to try to slow down Scottie Pippen.
Anthony Mason replacing Charles Smith. The Knicks have a 2-point lead. Purdue over Ewing. Ewing got a piece of it. Possession. Purdue tried to draw the foul as he hit the deck, but it's called on Will Purdue. That is his first.
Will Purdue was very upset last year not being included on the playoff roster, mainly because he has some of his best games against New York, mainly on the offensive boards, but he has all kinds of problems trying to guard, and Patrick Ewing just does not have the quickness or the strength to deal with him.
Not a different situation for Purdue as Ewing is able to hit over him, and the Knicks now lead by 4. In the past, he would be successful because he would provide a changeup coming in after Bill Cartwright or perhaps after Bill Wennington, but now Purdue is in the starting lineup, so it has to go against Ewing right from the opening tip.
Well, Cartwright's value was to wear down Patrick Ewing, but Purdue did most of his damage on the offensive boards when Michael Jordan was on this team, because that's where the focus of the defense was.
Foul is called on Mason as a timeout is taken. We'll be right back. Scottie Pippen off to the strong start, hitting 3 from downtown prior to this season. Even during this season, there have been reports of a possible Scottie Pippen package deal, either to Seattle, Miami, Washington was mentioned, but Scottie is still a Chicago Bull. We asked him his reaction to all the trade speculation.
Well, I look at it as something in the past. You know, it's something that I don't have any control of. If the management would like to trade me or whatever, then, you know, I'm going to still go out and do my best as long as I'm a Chicago Bull player. That's something that's totally out of my hands, whether or not I'm here today or tomorrow. But I know as long as I'm here, I'm going to give my best.
And these trade rumors and thoughts started with 1.8 seconds to go in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals when Scottie Pippen refused to go in for that last play. And a lot of thinking around Chicago and in the inner circles was that the Bulls might be trying to trade Scottie Pippen to punish him, to show that just can't be done to their organization. I think that would be a mistake. If it was to improve their ball club, get us John, a younger player, and build with that kind of a young superstar, that would make a lot of sense.
Knicks with a 17-15 lead. Here's Starks for 3. Well, John Starks with his second three-pointer, and the Knicks now lead 20-15. We talk about the Knicks shooting problems, but they are off to a good start. Here's Pippen from deep. Rebounded by Ewing. The Knicks are 9 of 15, 60% from the field as we hit the halfway halfway point of this first quarter. Mason looking to post up. An illegal defense call for the first time on the ball.
Well, Purdue with his foot on the other side of the foul line in the red painted area with Patrick Ewing above the top of the key. You just cannot straddle that line. Once you cross that line, you have to go double team. Watch Will Purdue's right foot on the bottom left of your screen. No double team on Anthony Mason.
The basket counts. It's a goaltend on Will Purdue.
Well, Will Purdue does not get a lot of block shots, but he's patrolling the lane here right now as he went up and did touch it over the rim and also touched the rim as he hit the ball. Actually, the ball was initially blocked by
personal foul. Derek Harper is first. The team
so Charles Oakley gets credit for the field goal. Derek Harper called for the foul. Looking for the steal on B.J. Armstrong. And Harper staying in the backcourt with Armstrong. 7-point lead for the Knicks. 10 of 16 from the field here at the start. This is Simpkins for Armstrong. 2-point range. And back comes Starks. Knicks have hit their last 5 shots. And a reach-in foul called as Ewing put the ball on the floor. Will Purdue called for his second, and he'll be replaced by Bill Wennington. Bill Wennington has had some good moments over the years against the New York Knicks.
Well, he can step away from the basket at about 15 to 17 feet and draw Patrick Ewing away, and Bill Wennington shoots that jump shot so well. So far, the Bulls are waiting for Patrick Ewing to put the ball on the floor before they come down and double team.
Starks changed his mind. Ewing operating against Wennington. And the foul on Wennington. These two guys faced each other back in their college days in the Big East. Bill Wennington at St. John's and Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. And the rivalry has continued in the pros. The Knicks lead by 7. We come up on 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Ewing's pass broken up, and Oakley was fouled.
Well, the Bulls are really mixing it up now as to how they're coming down and double Patrick Ewing. The last time when he drew the foul on Wennington, nobody came here. Pippen came on the catch. Patrick read it beautifully, looked right underneath the basket. The diver, Charles Oakley, they have been connecting well throughout the year on that particular play and look for each other very nicely.
The rookie Dickie Simpkins called for the foul. Here's Harper for 3 and rebounded by Harper of Chicago. Harper, no relation to Derek Harper. Simpkins. Dickie Simpkins, first-round draft pick from Providence. Incidentally, a teammate of Michael Smith, who has played so well for the Sacramento Kings. The Knicks lead 22-17. Starks feeling the shot. He's been looking right throughout the court. Here's Ewing. Mason had it knocked away. The officials check with each other and call for a jump ball, and Scottie Pippen does not like the call and discusses it with Bob Delaney.
Did you see those glasses Bob had on before the game? The Coke bottle.
He said it was a Christmas present, but they were not for game use. So Pippen and Oakley on the jump. New York Knicks on the road have won 5 and lost 7 overall. Here's Oakley. Yes. Charles Oakley missed 4 games because of the dislocated toe. Made his return against Cleveland on Thursday and played one of his best games of the season. And he's hitting his shots here in the early going. Another Knicks steal. Starks with 3 balls getting back. Pulls it up. Knicks by 7. And Starks lost the dribble off his foot.
Well, Pat Riley has been after John Starks to get involved in other phases of the game and not just rely on that jump shot. He wants John driving to the basket to try and either get a field goal, draw a foul, or make another pass. He also wants him to do more things at the defensive end as well.
Bill Jackson getting set to send on Tony Kukoc, who comes off a very strong game, and Pete Myers, who has played well against the Knicks. Another bad pass, turnover number 4 by Chicago. Mason with the pull-up. Ewing with the slam. And the Knicks now lead 26-17.
And so far, Marv, the Knicks have been the much more alert team. They are quicker to the loose balls. They're catching in more. The Bulls look like they're running in water, and this is the way they have played in this building since the beginning.
Hopper going for the steal is called for the foul.
Second penalty.
There's Anthony Mason letting that shot go, gets a piece of the rim, but Patrick Ewing trailing on the play, followed it all along, and nobody for Chicago ever got a body on him.
New York over the limit.
One more time, Patrick Ewing get a clear lane to the basket as Dickie Simpkins was naughty there. Hole in his stocking.
The penalty.
So Ewing with a second field goal, and now Simpkins to the free throw line. Greg Anthony is getting set to come on for the Knicks. And Anthony will replace Hopper, who has picked up 2 fouls. Greg Anthony has been a very pleasant surprise. He's been shooting well. His shot selection has improved. And he's tried to show Pat Riley that he is thinking pass first and then shot. There have been a couple of occasions where Pat has reacted, but Anthony has had a solid season.
They have to be happy with those percentages, but of course with Pat Riley, you always have to do the job at the defensive end, and they think some of his defense has dropped off.
Off the mark with that three-pointer attempt. Here comes Myers. Steve Kerr, who just came on, for Simpkins, who will put it back outside.
Well, since Anthony Mason has come into the ballgame, I don't think Scottie Pippen has gotten a touch on the ball yet.
Technical foul has been called. A technical foul on Scottie Pippen. So Scottie frustrated, didn't like a call earlier, and right here he was called for a foul, and it led to a technical foul. Timeout has also been taken, but Scottie Pippen was hot. 2:42 remaining first quarter. Thank you. Had a 4:19 to go in this second quarter, and the Knicks with a 3-point lead. Matt, bittersweet memories for one of the inhabitants of a new luxury box at the United Center. Always nice to keep the photo of Chicago Stadium handy.
Well, a lot of fond memories of that building. I know we always like to go there and broadcast, Marv, but I played there for parts of 3 years. It was just a fantastic building, and with all kinds of tremendous memories.
Bill Wennington with his third field goal. He's at 3 out of 5 for 6 points. The Knicks by 1. Hubert Davis and Derek Hopper now at the guards. Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason on the front line. And Ewing draws the foul once again.
Well, Wennington's strength is the fact that he can step out on the floor, try to draw that big man away. No way Patrick Ewing can get out there in time to challenge that shot, as Bill Wennington has had a lot of good looks at the basket, as Pat Riley knows that just too difficult right now for Patrick Ewing to get out there in that type of play.
It has been a tumultuous season for the New York Knicks. We talked about the knee problems of Patrick Ewing, John Starks shooting difficulties. We touched on that earlier. The Knicks crushed by the Magic Orlando. Patrick Ewing upset at one point with John Starks for questioning his shot selection during a game in Atlanta. John Starks and Greg Anthony benched by Pat Riley. The toe problems of Charles Oakley. An alleged squabble between Anthony Mason and John Starks on a recent charter flight, which both have denied. Here's Armstrong on a fadeaway. And a loose ball foul. It's on Wennington. Pat Riley also at one point upset with the log jam on the roster, which eventually led to the departure of Doc Rivers, who ends up with the San Antonio Spurs. And Matt, how about that wild report the other day that Riley would eventually be headed to Orlando, which Pat angrily denounced. And he does have one more year left on his contract, but it's the way it's gone for the Knicks, who have been struggling, losing 3 straight at home, 4 straight overall. But as Pat mentioned to us earlier today, it's a long season. A lot of things can turn.
But it's a daily soap opera for the New York Knicks, and of course compound all the problems off the floor with not winning games, and on a 4-game losing streak, it makes it that much more difficult. The players, the coaches, they just kind of go into their room, Marv, and just throw a blanket over their heads. Don't read, don't watch TV, just concentrate on playing basketball.
Now, would you ever tell that to your ball club? I never believe that coaches and players don't read the papers. I mean, that's nonsense. Here's Pippen, and it cuts it to a 3-point lead.
Well, you can't avoid it, Marv, because somebody, even if you don't read on a particular day or two, somebody's going to tell you what so-and-so said. So you're always informed in general about what's going on. But you can make a conscious effort to stay away from it as much as possible.
Traveling violation. Well, if you're in the New York area, all you have to do is pass the newsstand, and you'll get a little taste of it. A montage of what the Knicks have seen right throughout, and understandably, there have been a number of intriguing situations. Charles Oakley called for the foul. That is his second, and Tony Kukoc will go to the line.
Well, the Bulls always make a conscious effort of spreading the floor against the New York Knicks. The Knicks are such a good help defensive team, but they want to take them out, maybe 28, 30 feet, spread the floor as much as possible, so then when they get in a driving situation, as Tony Kukoc just did, it makes it that much more difficult for the Knicks to come over and help out.
Tony Kukoc missed his first 2. He's a 74% free throw shooter, and now looking to convert his second straight. He just went over and said something to Tony.
And he nodded, which means he has no idea what he said.
Perhaps Bob was telling him about those humorous glasses that he's wearing before the game. Mason and Remington will jump it up. The basket will not count. It's a tie-up. Good play by, I should say, Purdue and Mason. Good play by Will Purdue.
And amongst some of the problems the Knicks having on the basketball floor, for whatever reason, they have really dropped down near the bottom of the league in offensive rebounding. That should just not happen when you have people like Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, big bodies who have a sense of when shots are going up and should get to the offensive board. They haven't done it this year.
Here's Pippen, fouled by Harper. Crowd reacts. Harper was trying to brace the fall, and it will not be a flagrant. That's what the crowd wanted.
Derek Harper just wants to make sure here that Scottie Pippen doesn't make the layup. A little shove in the back, but he just wraps him up and holds his arms and then makes sure that Scottie Pippen does not run into that basket stanchion, which, by the way, Mark, that stanchion used to be about 4 or 5 feet closer to the end line at both ends. At the beginning of the year, the Bulls had that changed, and of course they also wanted to change that basket at the other end as Phil Jackson is trying to get comfortable in this building and get his ball club comfortable. They just aren't yet.
Harper sits down after picking up his third, replaced by Anthony. Harper leads with 4 points. The Bulls are not a good free throw shooting team, only 70% at the line. Pippen has 16 points. He's the high man for Chicago. Kukoc with 12. Here's pressure by the Bulls. Mason had it knocked away, but then recovered. The game is tied at 49. Ewing with the spin. Crowd wanted to travel. Left in this first half.
2 minutes to play in the first half.
Kukoc wanted the room, told Purdue to get out of the way. Here's Kerr.
And that's why he wants to get isolation as much as possible. He is so confident in his ability right now. He feels he can take anybody off the dribble and make a play.
The Bulls lead by 2. Ewing with possession. And here comes Pippen. Mason lost it and then recovered. It's a 3-on-1. Davis for 3. Yes. Hubert Davis, who has not been shooting well, converting on his first field goal attempt, and he does it from downtown. The Knicks 52 and the Bulls 51. We're approaching 1 minute remaining in the half. The Bulls spreading the floor. Now Kerr from Pippen. That's one you rarely see from the Steve Kerr arsenal.
He is definitely not comfortable cutting across the lane, having to flip up a left-hand hook against Patrick Ewing.
Ewing. So Patrick Ewing will head back to the free throw line. He was fouled in the act by Purdue, his third.
Tony Kukoc getting the kick out here from Scottie Pippen as he got raked across the arm there, and he is talking a language I'm sure nobody in this building, well, there's a lot of Croatians here in Chicago. They probably know exactly what he's saying there, as he did get hammered by Anthony Mason.
Ewing had hit his first 5 from the line. Pete Myers will come on now. Will Purdue departs. Patrick Ewing has had a superb first half. 13 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block shots. This one of his better performances of the season in terms of all-around skills.
And Pat Riley will point out to his team at halftime that Patrick Ewing can not only do this for himself, but help the teammates as well, if we will get the ball inside to him on a consistent basis.
The Knicks lead by 2, 35 seconds remaining in the half. Tied the game at 53. 14 points for Tony Kukoc. Pippen and Kukoc have combined for 30 of the Bulls' 53 points. They double up on Anthony. 20 seconds to go in the half. Pippen now guarding Ewing, who backs his way. And the foul is called against the Bulls. It's on Pippen, his second.
Patrick Ewing is going to have to check his tape job on his ankles here, as Tony Kukoc off the dribble with a little bit of a head fake to the right and just blows by Patrick Ewing, and nobody for New York can get there in time, mainly because that floor is spread. But you know, that closer three-point line helps Kukoc. He's shooting a good percentage from out there, and you got to respect that shot a little bit, and that enables some driving opportunity for him as well.
Ewing 7 of 8 at the line. Tony Kukoc just under 40% from three-point land. 15 seconds remaining first half. The Knicks 55 and the Bulls 53.
And Tony Kukoc will be the point guard in this situation. They'll try to spread it for him again. Charles Oakley will have his hands full.
Down to 5 seconds. One-on-one move. Again, Kukoc with the step. He's set up. Final seconds of the half. Davis off the shot clock. Well, a terrific first half, in particular for that man, Tony Kukoc. 6 of 8 from the field, 14 points in all. The Bulls and Knicks are tied at 55 here at the new United Center in Chicago. Now, stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report. It's coming up with Hannah Storm right after these messages. Well, John Starks getting ready for the start of play in the second half just moments ago while the teams were warming up over on the Knicks bench. John Starks in deep thought, preparing for the second half. Starks 2 of 4, hit 2 3-pointers, 6 points in the first half. John still trying to turn it from the poor shooting. And Matt, he has admitted that the 2 for 18 in the 7th game of the NBA Finals against the Houston Rockets has had an effect. In fact, he said he couldn't look at the tape of the game. And then finally, during the West Coast trip, off the leg of the Bulls, and then off the During the West Coast trip, as you see the rundown of the leading scorers, Ewing with 16 and Pippen with 16 leading their clubs. He finally took a look at the tape as if to get it out of his system. Charles Smith gives the Knicks a 2-point lead.
I heard he turned the sound down, too.
Yes, and I asked him about the tapes. He said, you know, the graphics were very, very good. Color commentary, so-so.
Had to be a miserable summer for John, and then off to a terrible start this year. And that little meditation at halftime, he's got to be trying to do anything he can to get himself going. Although he had a good shooting game in that loss against Cleveland the other night, and has had a good first half so far here.
Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Smith, and Oakley up front. Charles Oakley. He's 5 of 9. He has 13 points, but only 1 rebound in 18 minutes for Oakley.
Well, some of that would have to do that he was trying to guard Tony Kukoc in that first half. And of course, when you're guarding him, you're out on the floor or being taken off the dribble. Does not put you in good rebounding position.
Scottie Pippen hit his first 3 from downtown. Foul on Smith, making contact with Purdue. But Pippen has missed his last 4 3-pointers.
Well, the Knicks coming out and going inside at every opportunity, in particular in transition. They'll look for Smith. This time they look and find Charles Oakley. Not a comfortable post-up player, but he is comfortable stepping back and shooting that jumper. But you can tell, although Charles Oakley is not a guy who normally grimaces, he is in a lot of pain, and having to guard the likes of Pippen as he did on that last sequence, or Kukoc in the first half, cannot be fun on that very sore toe.
And according to the report earlier from Ahmad, he will make a decision. Of course, we have heard this before, but he says he will make a decision regarding an operation depending on how he feels after the game tonight. If he should undergo surgery, it will take place this week, and he would be out 6 to 8 weeks. Tried a different shoe the other night. What he said was the last option before surgery on the dislocated toe. Here is Oakley. And the rebound comes to Hopper. Hopper and Armstrong in the backcourt. Purdue, Pippen, and Simpkins up front. And a hold on Smith. As Pippen, off the fake, went to his right. And that's 3 on Charles Smith.
Well, the Bulls will look to drive the ball into the seam of the defense at every opportunity. No way that Charles Smith can stay with Scottie Pippen. He got off to a terrible start in this ballgame, had to go to the bench and give way to Anthony Mason, who did a good job of slowing Pippen down, but then Kukoc got it going.
3 apiece now on Smith, Hopper, and Starks. Armstrong, tied up or foul? Let's see. It is a foul called by Steve Jennings.
Personal foul, Patrick Ewing.
It's on Ewing, his second.
One of the staples of the Chicago defense, especially all those years that Horace Grant was here, was their trap after free throws. The Bulls have been able to put it on a couple of times. It's a token 3-quarter 2-2-1, not really designed to steal the ball, more to just slow up the Knicks and take them out of any kind of rhythm, make it slow for them to get into any kind of quick offensive play, and it worked on that last possession.
Mentioned the departure of Horace Grant. He, of course, going on to Orlando. Scott Williams to Philadelphia. Bill Cartwright to Seattle. John Paxson to retirement, actually to the radio booth, working alongside Neil Funk here in Chicago. Ewing. And the Knicks now lead 61 to 58. That all adds to the departure of Michael Jordan. So this is certainly a revamped Chicago Bull ball club. Ewing trying to sweep it. And last touch. Well, the officials checking with each other. There's John Paxson handling the radio color commentary for the Chicago Bulls.
He's had a marvelous career here in Chicago, really well loved in this city. Of course, unable to play very much last year due to the problems with his knees, but the people in this town and around the country will never forget that 3-pointer in Phoenix.
Back come the Bulls. 3-on-2. Simpkins lost it. Starks off the steal. Oakley. Yes. Charles Oakley having a conversation with Scottie Pippen.
And it wasn't peace on earth, goodwill to men. They are good buddies, but that was something nasty that Charles said to Pippen. Pippen didn't react.
Oakley has 15 points, shooting well, 6 of 11 from the field. The Knicks now lead by 5 with 3 minutes gone by in the third. rebounds. Ewing lost it. Smith on the recovery. Starks. Pippen with the box out. Pippen all the way. Looked like the Knicks just collapsed. They stepped away as Pippen drove the lane.
Actually, John Starks stepped up in the lane with the idea of taking a charge. It's something that the Knicks have worked on in their last 2 practices, but actually the athleticism of Scottie Pippen enabled him to avoid Starks, but John really didn't do a good job of taking that charge.
Harper wanted a 3, but his foot was on the line. It's a 2-pointer. Here's Pippen trying to go glass. So Pippen, after the good start, not shooting well, starts with a change of pace, and it will count. It's a goaltend. Beautiful move by John Starks to give the Knicks a 67-60 lead.
Well, Charles Oakley and Scottie Pippen, former teammates here in Chicago and good buddies. But after that jump shot, Charles Oakley turned to Scottie Pippen, who just totally ignored. We kind of looked over to our table here to see if we heard what he said. We didn't.
And I'm sure you would have passed it on.
A terrible thing happens in this game, Marv, when you start to think, and really that's been the problems that John Stark has had in the beginning of this year, worrying about the perimeter shot, because as Pat Riley pointed out, there's so many other things he can do to help this ball club. He used to be one of the best defensive guards in this league as far as guarding head up on people, taking charges and whatnot, and he can do that, help his ball club on those nights when he's not shooting particularly well.
Pete Myers, who just checked back in, saw his pass intercepted by Charles Oakley. Myers guarding Starks. Ewing played by Purdue, and triple team got it to Oakley. Rebound Purdue.
Charles frustrated with himself there. Another good pass by Patrick Ewing set him in for what should have been a dunk. But Charles just does not have that kind of explosion. Never had it even when his feet were feeling much better, but he certainly doesn't have it now.
Pippen was stopped, and he's called for a travel. That time it was played well by Smith.
John and Patrick having a little discussion. Actually, right before that, John saw a little bit of lint on Patrick's mustache.
Really?
Yes, I thought he was doing that.
Matt, you are so observant.
I spot these things.
I have never heard a color commentator point that out. Oakley decides to pop it back out. Here is Smith. So these are the things we don't get from other people.
It is important stuff.
And that is a kick ball, making for a new 24. The Bulls are only 1 of 7 from the field here in the third quarter.
As Bill Wennington tries to start this fast break, and does, as he put that long leg out there, Charles Oakley, who's not been very mobile in this particular ball game, looked much better in the Thursday night game against Cleveland. But as Pat Riley pointed out, he had a number of days off before that performance.
Scottie Pippen is 2 for his last 10. This after the good start. He has 18 points. Tony Kukoc providing the spark, though, in the first half with 14 off the bench. Tony is back on the floor. Ewing. And he'll go to the line. Will Purdue call for his 4th foul.
Patrick just has a good feeling about every time he gets the ball inside. He has a pretty good idea of what he wants to do. If that double does not come down quickly, he's going to make a definitive move as far as his offensive opportunity is concerned. As Will Purdue upset with that, as he's been in foul trouble throughout much of this ball game. Bill Wennington, who's set to come in, has 3 personal fouls as well. And this is where the Bulls are really missing Luke Longley, who would normally be the starter. Talked to Luke before the game, and he said he's probably another week away before he is able to get out and really get involved again. He has that stress fracture in the fibula.
There is Luke Longley, who had some good moments last season against the Knicks. And this is where the Chicago Bulls also miss Bill Cartwright, because Cartwright played Ewing so well. He was able to keep him off the blocks, pushed him outside. There's another factor there. Cartwright and Ewing were very friendly, had great respect for each other when Cartwright was with the Knicks, so you didn't get the same kind of ferocity from Ewing, I thought, in going up against Cartwright.
The shot clock. Knicks ball.
Might have been a bit of a psychological thing there.
Well, actually, if you looked at him, Marv, over the years, Patrick had some very good scoring games against Bill Cartwright, but what Bill did was wear him down with that physical pounding, pushing him further and further out on the floor. He used to be able to play that way in the low post. Of course, this year, not able to extend that arm has really changed low post defense. That's why Pat Riley and the Knicks want to go inside of you and take advantage of it.
Scottie Pippen is called for the trip. That is his third foul.
Scottie unhappy with the call there as he steps out to just try to make John Starks go wider and stuck the leg out there, and the little trip by John Starks drew the foul.
Oakley. Good setup from Hopper. Surprised Oakley, but he was able to recover to receive the pass. And Weddington collects his fourth foul. So Hopper will go to the line.
We also mentioned that how important Bill Cartwright was to this team, even though he didn't play a lot of games or play a lot of minutes. But Scott Williams, who's now in Philadelphia and struggling there, was another big body that the Bulls got a lot of use of, even though Scott Williams only played about half the year last year due to a lot of injury problems. But it always seemed that the Bulls had big bodies to throw in there. Stacey King before Luke Longley got there.
Charles Oakley, 3 of 4 at the line. This is the second of our NBA Christmas Day doubleheader. Earlier, Denver defeated Seattle 105-96. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, high man for the Nuggets with 23. Rodney Rogers had 22. The Nuggets 105 and the Sonics 96. Here with 5.5 to go in the third. The Knicks lead the Bulls by 9. Myers on a fadeaway. Pete Myers with his second field goal. He has 4 points. New York Knicks come in at 12 and 11. They have dropped 4 in a row in 6 of their last 8 games, while the Bulls at 12 and 12, and they come off a win at home over Indiana on Friday. Ewing really fell back to the Chicago bench. Oakley again. A beautiful pass from Ewing.
Well, not a smooth possession by any means, but Patrick Ewing keeping his head up all the way on a little draw and kick move, finding Oakley going to the basket again. They really have had terrific communication in this ballgame.
Nicely done. Scottie Pippen on a spin. Pippen has 20, and the Knicks now lead 71-64.
Pat Riley calling a play now for John Starks. Wants to see if he can't get him involved a little offensively. Actually, they found Smith on the first curl there. They're supposed to let that go as Charles Smith walked with the ball. Scottie Pippen, who can do some damage in the low post, especially against Charles Smith, who just does not have the lateral movement to play Pippen, whether it's outside on the floor or inside underneath, as Pippen just wheeled on him very easily.
Scottie Pippen is the only man in the NBA leading his team in scoring, rebounding, and assists, and also leads the Bulls in minutes played, block shots, and three-pointers made. Pippen toasting up on Smith. Basket won't count. The foul before the shot. It's on Smith. That's his 4th.
And Charles is hot about it. I'm a little surprised that he didn't claim that Scottie Pippen hooked him with the left arm as he tried to make that move.
And Charles Smith averaging just under 4 fouls per game. That has been one of his problems, getting in the early foul trouble. Myers make it 3 for 3 from the field for the one-time Nick Pete Myers. The Knicks now lead 71-66.
Well, since Pete rejoined the team, he has really had problems with his offense. Always a defensive guy. And any kind of offense he can give him is helping. And here's the kind of defense that he can give him as he drew the charge on Patrick Ewing.
And Patrick Ewing vigorously argued and was hit with a technical foul.
Has been very much into this ball game, playing beautiful basketball here, losing his control a little bit. This has happened to the Knicks from time to time, where they may get mad at themselves, get mad at referees, get mad at Pat Riley, and they just don't keep their emotions. Here, Pete Myers trying to trail outside and follow John Starks, and the foul is called on the Ewing block, but it really looked like Pete Myers threw that hip into Ewing and took the flop, and that's exactly what Patrick Ewing thought and told the referee all about it.
Yes, he was not pleased with Nolan Fine and was immediately hit with the tee. The Knicks lead is now 4 with 3:40 remaining. In the third, Pippen with a one-on-one move against Anthony Mason. It brings the Bulls within 2. The Knicks call for timeout.
Well, with the floor spread, Kukoc and Pippen have had their way with the New York players as far as taking them off the dribble. New York's help just comes too late as Mason was under control. Scottie Pippen.
So the Bulls with a 7-0 run. They've hit their last 4 shots, and they trail by only 2. 3.5 remaining in this third quarter. It's the Knicks with a 71-69 lead. 7-0 run by Chicago to work their way back. They were down by as many as 11 in the first half. A steal by Myers from Ewing. Pippen for Armstrong, and he's fouled by Hopper. Derek Hopper committing his 4th, and the Knicks are in severe foul trouble.
Patrick Ewing has been reading the double team well all night long, mainly because he has looked to the other side of the floor. This time Pippen blocked his vision. Patrick just tried to get rid of the ball, and the turnover and fast break opportunity. As Pat Riley said, I have seen this before. I don't want to see it again. But the Knicks have to continue to go inside to Ewing right now because the Bulls centers are in foul trouble. Both Wennington is on the floor now. He has 4, and Will Perdue has 4 fouls. And Derek Harper has 4 fouls.
Hopper replaced by Greg Anthony. Armstrong, an 84% foul shooter, has tied the game at 71. Here's some pressure by Myers against Anthony. The Bulls still feel they can pressure the Knicks. They have turned it on and off. Oh, Oakley fires one high and far. That was picked off by an injured member of the Bulls, Larry Kristoviak. Phil Jackson feels that he can still, from time to time, turn on the press against the Knicks.
Well, they feel the Knicks get rattled, and they used to were so successful with the back in the Horace Grant, Pippen, and Jordan years. And normally that's why Anthony Mason is so important to have on the floor. He handles the ball so well. That ball just slipped out of Oakley's hand.
Kukoc isolated against Oakley, who was able to slap it away. At least 4 on the shot clock.
Oakley has Patrick Ewing there, but Patrick Ewing on a rather sizable ladder wouldn't have been able to deal with that one. It just slipped out of his hand.
Would have needed a Harold Carmichael type leaping catch. Scottie Pippen and Charles Oakley battling for the ball. Oakley got to it and was out of bounds. And he and Scottie again involved in a conversation. Nice play, Charles, catching it but 1 foot out of bounds.
That was a friendly discussion.
Yes. The Knicks and the Bulls tied at 71 with 2:35 to go in the third. Kukoc for Pippen for 3. Rebound Ewing. Tosses down to Mason. Anthony Mason with a good move over Pete Myers. The Knicks lead 73-71.
And a touchdown pass from Ewing. The Knicks had a lot of success with it against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Thursday, primarily with Oakley throwing a long pass to either Mason or Charles Smith, with the Knicks releasing on the jump shot to get some easy hoops.
Mason switching off to Armstrong.
2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And a tripping foul called on Starks. John Starks very close to an explosion and then able to catch himself.
And now just a little smile on the part of John, as really it was not a friendly smile, as he's upset that he is coming out of the ballgame right now in favor of Hubert Davis.
To the line, shooting a penalty.
Because of his 14th foul. He understands that, but John has had problems picking up these fouls. His normal tough aggressive defense always involved being very handsy, pushing, shoving, using the leg from time to time, and he is not adjusting as well here with the leg stuck out and the little trip on Pete Myers. Clearly a foul, but this has happened to John Starks throughout this whole year's. Pat Riley not upset with John Starks there. He is upset with the official.
So 4 apiece on Starks, Hopper, and Smith. Pete Myers has given this club a lift off the bench. He has 8 points, and he's tied the game 73. Here's pressure again. Davis now in the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, and Oakley up front. Anthony for three. One down by Oakley.
Well, the Bulls are plugging the lane now when the ball goes inside to Patrick Ewing and the double team happens. They're blocking off that lane cut, and the only pass Patrick has, or what he thinks he has right now, is the pass back out to the corner.
Ewing, double team. Not a good shot. He forced it. Myers try to hit Pippen on the hop. And the ball goes back to New York.
Normally you want to bounce pass in that situation, but that wasn't going to work. That was too hot to handle. Scotty just signaled to Pete Myers, get that one up in the air. Let me try to alley-oop dunk that thing. They understood each other.
A steal by Pippen. Pippen all the way. And he hits. Plus the foul. Well, in this situation, when you commit a foul, you want to do it with enough steam to not allow the shot. Hubert Davis called for the foul, but did not prevent the shot by Pippen.
Well, you know, Hubert Davis is carrying that soft label defensively that he is not physical enough, and I'm sure that's on his mind here. He wants to try to get the arms of Pippen from getting up in the scoring area, but really doesn't do it hard enough. We saw a play early on in the first half where Derek Harper didn't even seem to hit Pippen as hard, but he kept him from making the layup. Unfortunately for Hubert Davis, when you're going bad, those are the things that happen to you.
That steal by Pippen is 5th of the game, not able to convert with a three-point play, but he's given the Bulls a 75-73 lead. Steve Kerr has checked back in, so Kerr and Armstrong at the guards. Just under 1 minute left in the third. Oakley. Here comes Armstrong. B.J. Armstrong. 11 points for B.J. And the Bulls with their biggest lead of the game, a margin of 4.
And the crowd is into it now, but it's always going to take the Bulls to get them involved. They're not going to cheer for nothing.
Ewing. Armstrong tried to go round behind the back and then got it to Pippen. Hubert Davis with the rebound. And we now have 15 seconds left in the third quarter. I'm told that this the most enthusiastic that this crowd here at the United Center has been all season. Anthony fires. For Knicks shooting here in the final minutes of the quarter. That's the end of the third. Scottie Pippen lifting the Bulls. 24 points in all, 9 rebounds and 5 steals. The Bulls by 4 after 3 here in Chicago. We'll be back after a word from your local station. Back in Chicago, a fine-looking Santa Claus as we head to the fourth quarter with the Chicago Bulls trying to make it 6 straight on Christmas Day. They lead the New York Knicks 77-73. The Knicks with an 18-point third quarter. Shot 8 of 17 from the field in the third. Chicago with a hot start in the third and finished 7 of 19. A 15-2 run, though, by Chicago to end the quarter to take the 4-point lead. Scottie Pippen guarded by Anthony Mason. Shot clock at 1. And a foul is called. Nolan Fine with the call against Anthony Mason. That is his third.
Well, as so often happens, Scottie Pippen winds up with the ball with the shot clock winding down. There's about 3 seconds to go here. Knows he has to get it up quickly. Uses the left hand. Forced that way by Anthony Mason, who actually played good defense on the play. He's very unhappy with the call, but one of the reasons why Scottie Pippen's shooting percentage is always down a little bit more because he's that kind of player. When the triangle offense breaks down where a shot hasn't appeared and now you're under that 6-5 second area, he has to find a way to invent a shot.
26 for Pippen. And the Bulls lead by 6. Again, the Bulls looking to trap. Hopper thought he was fouled by Wennington. Hopper and Davis at the guards. Ewing, Oakley, Mason up front. Davis not able to hit. Rare drive for Hubert Davis.
But a good idea, Mark. Right now, the post game is not working. The Bulls do not have a shot blocker in there right now, other than maybe Scottie Pippen. They should want to drive the ball to the basket, take it strong, force the Bulls to foul them, because they're not going to block a lot of shots.
And the shot clock running down. It's a 2. Pippen lost it. Harper all the way. Back comes Pippen. Davis and Mason cut him off. Lost it. Substitutions for the Knicks. John Starks and Charles Smith replace Hubert Davis and Charles Oakley. Oakley with 18 points, but only 3 rebounds. The Knicks with a 4-game losing streak. The last time they lost 5 in a row was November of 1990. They lost 4 straight last February. The loss in Phoenix, you may recall, as Ewing is able to get off a turnaround jump shot, and it leads to the 3-on-2. Myers called for a charge. Offensive foul on Pete Myers. Remember, the Knicks lost in Phoenix, and then Pat Riley took the team on that secret flight to Reno, Nevada before hitting Sacramento, and then they went on to win 15 straight.
Are you intimating that the players might be thinking they might get a vacation?
No, I don't think so. I did ask Pat, are there any secret trips planned? And he said he's mulling it over. Might be a surprise. Scottie Pippen rebounding the John Starks miss.
New York had 4 offensive rebounds in the first quarter, consciously going to the glass. They've had 1 since.
Kukoc off the fake, and he lost it. Another opportunity for the Knicks. Mason down the left wing side, went to the left hand. Wall and wall by Anthony Mason, and a technical foul has been called against the Knicks. And apparently John Starks has been ejected. We'll have to get another look at what developed.
Well, Pete Myers is definitely involved, and Pat Riley right now furious with referee Bob Delaney, as apparently John Starks has been thrown out of this ballgame. And Pete Myers, who has that ability to get under your skin, he's a feisty player, always banging into people, always has a little word to say, obviously did something to get under John Starks' skin.
Yes, when Pete Myers was a member of the New York Knicks, he and Patrick Ewing had some problems during practice sessions. In fact, there are some who believe that led to the departure of Pete Myers, who was an important player in terms of the pressing defenses of Rick Pitino. But John Starks has been ejected.
Let's look at in the middle of your screen here. Here's where all the action is, where John Starks and Pete Myers are. Let's take a look and see what happened. Obviously, nothing physical happened there, or at least we couldn't see it. But the referees have been looking ever since the middle of last year, and certainly into the playoffs, much more aware of the trash talking and the taunting.
And John Starks is headed back to the Knicks dressing room. He has been tossed. 9:37 remaining in this 4th quarter. We'll be back in Chicago in a minute. Well, John Starks was ejected. Pete Myers also hit with a technical foul. Here is a look back at the scenario.
John Starks is going to put too much steam on this pass to Pete Myers. Referee Bob Delaney right underneath the basket on top of it viewed that as an unsportsmanlike act and tossing John Starks out of the ballgame with just 1 technical foul. You can do that. And also, Pete Myers is going to get a technical foul for taunting after John Starks threw the ball. So Steve Kerr will shoot a technical free throw for Chicago, and we'll find out who will shoot it for New York at the other end.
Yes, this is unlike a simultaneous double technical, since one technical was called and then the other was called a moment after they both shoot the technical fouls. And it will be Hubert Davis shooting the tee for the Knicks. So that was a judgment call by Bob Delaney, because often you will see now a change. Davis was walking over to take the shot, but instead it will be Harper shooting the tee. You will often see a player throw the ball at an opponent and will not necessarily be ejected. But as you mentioned, they are trying to cut down on the unsportsmanlike type conduct plays and all the taunting that has taken place in recent years. So John Starks has had it.
No question, it was too much of a hard pass by John Starks. And really what we don't know, Marv, is what has been going on throughout the ballgame when Starks and Myers have been involved. And only the three officials very close to the action know if anything has been going on.
The Bulls 79 and the Knicks 75. Harper diving for and gets it to Ewing. Good play by Derek Harper. Harper blowing by Kerr to bring the Knicks within 2. Myers did not like what he thought was a hand check by Davis. Wennington watched by Ewing. Kukoc checking the clock. 5 on the 24. And Kukoc is fouled. Fouled by Smith. That's 5 on Charles Smith.
Well, the Knicks will give Derek Harper an opportunity to beat his man one-on-one. It's the old Detroit play that Joe Dumars used to run so well with Bill Laimbeer. Give him that look, see if he can take his man off the dribble. If not, he would call Patrick over to run the two-man play. But Harper easily blows by Steve Kerr to the basket.
Second team foul committed by the Knicks. The Bulls do not have any. Phil Jackson is Myers and Kerr in the backcourt. Kukoc, Pippen, Wennington up front. Here's Kukoc going 1-on-2. Traveling violation.
Well, in the first half, Tony Kukoc victimized everybody, in particular Charles Oakley. Charles Smith had his problems defensively. Let's give him credit here. The last 3 or 4 times he has really shut down Tony Kukoc by taking his left hand, his strong hand away, just making him do something else, and has forced Kukoc into some errors.
Illegal defense called for the second time on the Bulls. So a technical foul awarded.
And Pat Riley all the way up to midcourt. And Phil Jackson trying to figure out why he's allowed to come up to half court to get the explanation from Steve Jabby. But clearly Bill Wennington was below the free throw line and illegal as Patrick Ewing was up above the top of the key.
Well, Derek Harper missing that previous technical. Pat Riley changes back to Hubert Davis. The final stat line on John Starks: 3 of 6 from the field, 8 points and 5 assists. The Bulls 79 and the Knicks 78, and a foul called on Kerr. You get the idea that Derek Harper feels he can do what he wants against Steve Kerr.
Oh, Steve Kerr, not the best defensive player in the world, but he is a smart defender in that he will give ground, give angles. But right now, this is a tough assignment for him because Derek Harper has that ability to put it on the floor and get into the lane.
Ewing lost it. Pippen has a 2-on-1 with Kukoc, but the Knicks able to hurry back. Here's Kerr from 3. Yes. And that's why Steve Kerr is on the floor.
Very well said before I could say it, and that's what he does so well. One of the best in the league all time, percentage-wise.
Bulls by 4. Ewing changed his mind, but that time the pass off the mark. But last touch by the Bulls, a break for the Knicks.
Well, Pippen and Kukoc couldn't convert on the fast break opportunity, but Kerr spotting up well beyond the three-point line. That was really the old NBA three-point line where a lot of the players seem a little bit more comfortable.
Ewing again looking pass rather than shot, and a travel call on Davis. Patrick Ewing does have 6 assists, equaling his season high, but I can't recall him looking for the pass as frequently as we've seen here this evening. On several occasions, he's gone up in what looked to be the start of a jump shot and has changed his mind. Oakley able to handle one difficult pass and score, but not the case for the last 2. Kerr just changed his mind and was bottled up. Harper off the steal. Try to lead Mason off the dribble, and Kerr deflected it out. So the Knicks maintain possession. Here's B.J. Armstrong checking back in.
Bob, you mentioned why Patrick Ewing is looking to make the pass so much. You got to remember that the Knicks have lost 4 in a row and have struggled. And Patrick Ewing is the main man on this team, but he can't carry the load all by himself. He knows he has to get his teammates involved. He can certainly rebound, he can score, but he can't do it alone. He's got to get other players involved.
All right, here comes Pippen. Scottie Pippen has gone all the way. We have 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Here's Pippen. Foul. And Scottie will head back to the line. Timeout called with 6:54 remaining in the 4th. Bulls by 4. Bulls lead 83-78. Here's the trap on Harper. 6:45 remaining in this 4th quarter. Marv Albert with Matt Gugas and Ahmad Rashad from the new United Center in Chicago. Nice move by Mason. Could not put it down.
Beautiful spin move on Bill Wennington, who's playing with foul problems, but Anthony Mason likes to use that right hand inside. He just does not have the explosiveness to get up there and finish hard with a dunk.
5 on the 24. Kukoc for 3. 17 points for Tony Kukoc. That's his first from downtown. And the Bulls lead 86-78. Ewing with the spin. Patrick Ewing getting the excellent position. He now has 21. And the Knicks are trailing by 6.
That was all set up by good ball movement. The ball finally went back up top after it was reversed one time, and Oakley with the little drop passes. Ewing making the move too quick before a double team can come.
Bulls now using most of the shot clock. Pippen. Ewing snatches the rebound. In the past, you look over the Pat Riley era as coach of the New York Knicks. The Knicks have been very effective in 4th quarters. Ewing cuts it to a 4-point Chicago lead. But that has not been the case this season. And this is where the new defensive rules have had an effect. The Knicks are not able to clamp down on opponents the way they have in the past. Foul is called. And it is a flagrant. Tony Kukoc taking a shot. Anthony Mason called for the flagrant, and Kukoc is shaken up. As I said, the Knicks have not been able to clamp down, but that was an over-aggressive move by Mason.
Well, Tony able to beat Charles Oakley here. Mason coming over to help out, and the obvious is the last couple of times that people have gone to the basket, the Knicks have taken hard fouls. The last time Hubert Davis was involved, he took one, and here Mason making sure that it's not going to be a 3-point play. That was excessive, and that's why Kukoc will get the 2 free throws and possession of the basketball.
Kukoc only 2 out of 5 at the line. Pat Riley arguing the call, but I don't think there was any question about that one.
No, it was a hard foul, and I don't think Anthony Mason's intent there was to hurt anybody, just trying to prevent the field goal, but he happened to hit Kukoc up in the head and neck area where he's going to be sore tomorrow.
The Bulls 87 and the Knicks 82. Kukoc on the drive. And it's rebounded by Wennington. Armstrong. He had that shot altered by Ewing, who was able to step up and help. Hopper and Davis at the guards. Ewing, Oakley, Mason up front. Davis playing for John Starks. Again, the good move by Hopper. This time he beat Armstrong. And the Bulls lead by 3. 4:24 remaining. In this 4th quarter, the Bulls 87. The Knicks 84. Pat Riley was telling us prior to the game that one of the many problems that the Knicks have had this year is the lack of rebounding. And And they have been out-rebounded here today by the Bulls 36-32.
And the biggest problem is at the offensive end. And the Knicks, of course, a good defensive team, even with the new interpretation of the rules, a good defensive rebounding team. But for some unexplainable reason, not strong on the offensive boards this season so far.
Shot clock at 7. It's down to 3. And Wennington stepped out. Good defensive sequence by the Knicks. So both the Knicks and the Bulls have committed 17 turnovers, 17 apiece. They collapse on Ewing. Gets it inside to Oakley. They swing it around. Ewing came up short. Pippen around Ewing, and he's grabbed. He's fouled. That's number 4 on Patrick Ewing. And Ewing did not allow the shot.
Well, a difficult job for Patrick Ewing in the open floor, trying to keep in front of Scottie Pippen with a little hesitation move and tiny crossover to go to the left side. Patrick Ewing, all he could do was grab on and hold, but made sure that Pippen did not get to the basket.
He's a 70% free throw shooter. He's now 7 of 10 at the line. Scottie Pippen with 28 points, 13 rebounds, 5 steals. Off the back tap, it's rescued by Pippen, who's fouled by Davis. And with the Knicks over the limit, Pippen will go back to the free throw line.
Well, Tex Winter, the assistant coach for the Chicago Bulls, saying how important it was for Scottie Pippen to be a 50% shooter for the Chicago Bulls to play well. Obviously 9 for 25, well below that. But Scottie Pippen, very offensive-minded and very active, and does so many other things out on the basketball floor, as we pointed out so many times tonight in these various statistics.
Well, has had his ups and downs at the line. The Bulls 89 and the Knicks 84. Davis looked like he was going to unleash the jump shot. Oakley to the left hand. And here's Pippen. Kukoc is fouled. Tony Kukoc with the feeling that he can get the step anytime he wants on Charles Oakley, and he went for the drive, and Oakley was called for his third.
Well, it's such a big factor when you can spread the floor, especially the New York defense. A lot of the players out there just do not have the kind of lateral movement, in particular Oakley and Ewing right now, and a guy like Kukoc going against Oakley or Mason has that advantage, and not being able to hand check like you used to in the past to slow that man up really helps players that can put it on the floor and drive to the basket.
The Bulls with a 7-point lead and a timeout taken. Timeout called by the Knicks with 3:10 remaining in the fourth. Matt, can you recall any big scoring days on Christmas?
I think I had 4 once.
What a Marks guy. It counts, and the foul. Patrick Ewing will go to the line.
Well, Patrick has more than held up his end of the bargain today, as he has just tried to do everything. Ball getting inside. Nice feed by Davis. Is Patrick able to back into and overpower Bill Wennington? It's interesting that Pat Riley is giving Hubert Davis a chance down the stretch here. Hubert has been in the doldrums. Actually, Greg Anthony is the best three-point shooter on the Knicks and can make other things happen, but Davis is getting the shot here.
And Hubert, a player who was benched the other night in the game against Cleveland, played just the final minute. That was it. Three-point play by Ewing. He now has 26. And the Knicks are down 91-87. 2:45 to go in the fourth. Kerr. And it's rebounded by Mason. Knicks have won 3 straight against the Bulls. 5 of the last 6 in the regular season. But the Bulls with the lead right here. As Chicago goes with a double team on Ewing. Foul is called.
Personal foul, Bill Wennington.
It's Wennington, and that is his 6th foul. So Bill Wennington is fouled out. 3 of 5 from the field, 6 points in all.
You could see there all Bill Wenning could do was try to put the forearm in the back of Patrick Ewing, not able to extend that arm. That really gives a gigantic advantage to a strong post player, and the Knicks continue to pound it inside, hoping either Ewing can score, or if the double team occurs, toss it back out for a possible 3. They don't have to start raining threes at this point, but Hubert Davis and Derek Harper certainly have that opportunity to look for one.
22nd timeout was taken by the Knicks. The Knicks have 3 timeouts remaining. Chicago has 2 and a 20 with 2:31 to go in this fourth quarter. The Knicks with 4 straight losses, 6 of their last 8. And Pat Riley, during the course of his illustrious coaching career, has never lost 5 straight games. The last time the Knicks lost 5 straight was back in November of 1990. Chicago by 4. Here's Harper. Rebounded by Purdue.
I'm a little surprised at that play. That's the play that the Knicks tried to run late in that game against Cleveland. And Derek Harper was forced to drive the ball down the lane. They've had a lot of success going into Patrick Ewing. Something good generally happens. I'm a little surprised he didn't go in that time.
Shot clock at 4.
2 minutes to play in regulation.
It's down to 2. Armstrong forcing. So once again, the Bulls are forced into shots they would not want to take. Good defense by the Knicks the last 2 times down, but they still trail by 4. Ewing from Davis.
And that was the call right from Pat Riley. Get headed into the big fellas. There's nothing Will Purdue can do right now. Wennington, of course, fouling out.
Good entry pass from Hubert Davis, and the Knicks are down by 2 points. Armstrong. Yes. B.J. Armstrong with a big bucket leading to a Knick timeout. It's the Bulls 93 and the Knicks 89 with a minute 24 remaining, fourth quarter. 4 of 11 from the field. A minute 24 to go in this fourth quarter, and the Bulls lead the Knicks 93-89. Ewing facing the double team again. And the pass from Davis broken up. Try to force it in.
Terrific rotation defensively by the Chicago Bulls. Shut down the 2 passes for a possible open shot.
Armstrong. Purdue with the rebound, but lost at Harper on the steal. We're just under 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Oakley. Yes. Charles Oakley with a 2-pointer from deep in the corner, and it brings the Knicks within 2. Oakley has 20 points. Well, this has been a heated rivalry over the years. Both clubs come into this game struggling. The Knicks at 12 and 11, Bulls 12 and 12. But it has been tense throughout. Shot clock is down to 3. Kukoc. It counts. Yes, and the foul. Foul committed by Oakley is 4th, and Kukoc will go to the line.
Now, Tony looked a little bit tentative on this play. Actually threw it to Will Purdue and then got it back. But this is what he's been doing lately for the Bulls. Spread the floor and let him drive. Actually, he was defended well. But the long stride and the long arms enabled him to finish.
3-point play by Kukoc. He has 23 for the game. The Bulls 96 and the Knicks 91. 26 and 5/10 seconds to go. Fourth quarter. We'll be back after a word from your local station. 26 seconds to go. Fourth quarter. Chicago with a 5-point lead on the New York Knicks. That's the timeout situation. Scottie Pippen, high man with 29. Tony Kukoc has 23. Patrick Ewing leading the Knicks with 28. Charles Oakley with 20. Chicago Bulls come in losers of 3 of the last 4 and a 12-12 record. And Phil Jackson telling us prior to the game that he'd just be delighted if the Bulls can win 2 straight games. Well, they won on Friday night. It's been a strange week for the Bulls. They lost to Cleveland last Monday, 77-63. When I heard that score, man, I figured they decided not to play the 4th quarter. But Mike Fratello and his Cavaliers holding the Bulls to a franchise low 63 points, while the Knicks have lost 4 straight, and Pat Riley facing the prospect of losing 5 in a row for the first time in his coaching career.
And Greg Anthony remains on the bench. The best 3-point shooter for the Knicks starts ejected earlier in the ballgame for throwing the ball.
Strong move by Patrick Ewing, and it brings the Knicks within 22 seconds to go. The Knicks are over the limit. So any foul is a 2-shot situation right here. Pippen for Kukoc. The Knicks must foul. They can't get to the Bulls. And finally, they give the foul with 10 and 2/10 seconds to go. John Mason. Pat Riley was looking for the foul to be taken earlier.
Well, sure, and there's only one real good foul shooter on the floor for the Chicago Bulls, and B.J. Armstrong. All the others struggle, although, you know, Scottie Pippen around 70, Tony Kukoc around 70, but, you know, the one player that Chicago would like to have up there would be B.J. Armstrong.
Well, Kukoc is 6 for 10 from the line, and the Bulls 23 for 36. Bulls 97 and the Knicks 93. So the Knicks take their final timeout. Knicks do not have any timeouts left. 10 and 2/10 seconds remaining. They're down by 4. Here's Davis on the quick release, and he hits it, a 2-pointer to bring the Knicks within 2. 8 and 1/10 second remaining in this 4th quarter, and Pippen will inbound. Knicks looking for the immediate foul. Harper went down, and Ewing fouls Armstrong. Harper lost his balance, so Patrick Ewing giving the foul. That's his 5th personal, and B.J. Armstrong, who is just under 84% at the line, will shoot 2. He's 5 for 6 today.
Pat Riley sending Patrick Ewing down to the other end of the floor to possibly set up their home run play, where after a miss or make of these free throws, the long pass will be thrown to Patrick Ewing, who will catch and probably try to kick it back out for a 3-pointer on the run.
The Bulls lead by 3.
And New York, of course, is out of timeouts. That's why Patrick Ewing is down the floor right now. And here comes the 39% 3-point shooter replacing Oakley, which means Mason will try to throw this long pass to Ewing, who will look for Anthony, Harper, or Davis on the trail.
The Knicks do not have any timeouts remaining. And Phil Jackson with the message, do not foul on the 3-point attempt. Armstrong gives the Bulls a 4-point lead. Here's that long pass. Harper able to come up with it, and he is fouled by Purdue. So 4 and 6/10 seconds to go. That is the worst possible play you could make from the point of view of the Chicago Bulls. It stops the clock. It puts Harper on the line. He can cut it to a 2-point lead, and many things can happen with 4 seconds to go.
Well, Will Purdue was so intent on pressuring Patrick Ewing. Actually, the pass was over the head of both people, and Purdue out of position and off balance almost just forced himself to run into Harper and to do nothing but foul him.
All right, it's a 3-point lead now. Does Harper try to miss on purpose with a possibility of getting the ball on a 3-point shot, or does he try to convert and then the Knicks go for the steal?
I say miss it and try to slap the ball back outside.
Bulls by 3, 4 and 8/10 seconds to go. Well, Harper does hit it. All right.
Well, we're not sure what he tried to do there.
That's true.
But the way everybody was crashing the boards, it looked like I think the Knicks were expecting him to miss it, but the Knicks are probably just going to have to, and will commit a very quick foul here, and again try the home run play.
Well, Matt, this is a matchup of 2 clubs that have had their difficulties. The Knicks at 12-11 and the Bulls at 12-12. You look back to Christmas Day a year ago, and what a difference. The Knicks leading the Atlantic Division, record of 17-6, 3.5 in front of Orlando. And right here they face the possibility of a 5th straight loss and a 500 record. While the Bulls last season, and this coming off the departure of Michael Jordan, remember they were an enormous surprise with that record of 16-8, a game and a half in front of another surprise team, the Atlanta Hawks.
And one player is probably directly involved with those 2 switches in the standings of the Eastern Conference, and that is Horace Grant going to Orlando, who is just zoomed by everybody, not only in the East, but of course Phoenix is there as well. And of course Horace Grant leaving this team has really hurt them severely, and this team being the Chicago Bulls.
All right, 4 8/10 seconds remaining. Pete Myers will throw in from deep in the backcourt. Patrick Ewing on the ball. The Bulls lead by 2 points. Myers got it into Kukos. That was nearly picked off by Anthony, and a foul is called. Greg Anthony almost came up with the steal.
New York personal foul.
And Anthony
is 6.
Check that Ewing is called for the foul.
Well, the pressure by Patrick Ewing on the inbound passer, Pete Myers, forced that to be a bounce pass, which is a slower pass, and gave Greg Anthony a chance to possibly steal that, and almost forced Kukoc into losing possession there. Patrick Ewing had just a marvelous ball game in many areas, and just could not get his teammates to pick up the slack, although he made a lot of good passes, and a lot of that passing was contagious. But John Starks never really got it going offensively, and thrown out of the ball game, as there is still life for the New York Knicks.
Kukoc 7 of 12 at the line. 3 3/10 seconds remaining. Charles Smith has replaced Patrick Ewing. The Bulls lead by 3. Now the Knicks need the long pass and a 3-point attack, but Curl slaps it on Davis for 3. Yes! Hubert Davis has tied the game with 4/10 of a second remaining. Hubert Davis knocks down the 3-pointer. You'll recall it was Hubert Davis in the playoffs last season off the controversial call by Hugh Hollins, who was able to hit clutch free throws that beat the Chicago Bulls. But Matt, you look back at this, and you have to look back to that foul by Will Perdue. It really hurt the Bulls, and it shows you just never know, even with seconds remaining.
Well, this was a terrible pass by Anthony Mason. Again, looking for the long home run pass to Charles Smith, overthrown, and Steve Kerr, all he has to do is catch this ball, but instead he decides to slap it and right into the hands of the open Hubert Davis, as Steve Kerr puts his hands on his head as Patrick Riley is it. Yes, there is still life in the New York Knicks, as they'll get another chance in overtime. However, 4/10 of a second, the Bulls will possibly get a chance to launch another shot with 4/10.
We are in overtime with 1 minute and 20 gone by in this 5-minute session. The game is tied at 100. Here's Pippen off the spin, and he's fouled. Scottie Pippen has gone all the way. He has played the entire game. And he'll go to the line. 7 of 11 at the free throw line. Herb Williams called for that foul.
Scottie Pippen to the line. He'll shoot 2.
Phil Jackson telling us earlier that he feels that Scottie Pippen is just trying to do too much, and he has to be able to depend on some of his teammates. But here's Phil playing Scottie, 51 minutes and counting.
Well, Scottie Pippen knows he can't carry this ball. But hey, Michael Jordan, the greatest player in the world, knew he couldn't carry a team all by himself. He needed Pippen, Grant, and Armstrong, and Cartwright, and the others. So Pippen really knows that he needs those other guys, but he knows he also has to carry a big burden.
Davis thought he had someone cutting. The Bulls lead by 2.
Well, this is the difficulty that the Knicks have with Patrick Ewing out of the ballgame. Charles Smith has been an effective post player. He made a good post move on his first possession, just couldn't finish the play. Mason can do some damage in the low post as well.
Pippen setting up for the jumper. Rebound handled by Williams. We're just just under 3 minutes to go in overtime. Pippen is now 9 for 26 from the field. Knicks with the ball. The Bulls by 2 points. Smith for Davis. Rebound Herb Williams. Rebound Charles Smith. And he's tied the game at 102.
A rare offensive rebound opportunity for the New York Knicks, started by Herb Williams. This has been a big problem for the Knicks. They need it right now because they have nothing going at the offensive end. Nothing looks smooth.
Pippen rejected. It will count as a goaltend. Called on Williams. So Scottie Pippen gets credit for the field goal, and he gives Chicago a 2-point advantage.
Scottie Pippen slashing through the lane, getting a good feed from Armstrong, able to get that shot up quickly, as Herb Williams has been a good shot blocker in this league for many years. Clearly goaltended that one.
Smith fouled as Pippen came over to help out. Pippen and Kukoc on a double team, and Pippen charged with his fourth. Here's Charles Oakley replacing Herb Williams.
In overtime, you have 3 fouls to give before you're in the penalty. You shoot free throws on the 4th team foul.
And now Will Perdue sits down, replaced by the rookie from Providence, Dickie Simpkins, who started the game but has not played at all in the second half. The Bulls 104 and the Knicks 102. Again, they double up on Smith. Deflected out by the Bulls. 2:05 to go in this 5-minute overtime.
The best opportunity that the Knicks have to score right now is giving the ball to Derek Harper in a pick-and-roll situation right on that side of the floor.
It's a game that saw the Knicks lead by as many as 11 in the first half. Good run by the Bulls, got them back into it. Harper could not convert, and it's handled by Pippen. It looked like the Bulls were comfortably in front down the stretch. The Knicks were able to get back into it, and they tied the game on a last-second 3-point heave by Hubert Davis. The Bulls now have a 2-point lead in overtime. Pippen around Mason, and he's hit. So Pippen will go to the line.
New York personal foul, Anthony Mason.
Well, normally the Chicago Bulls come down and run their triangle offense. This time, Phil Jackson is calling a specific set play, and it's going to be a pick-and-roll situation with Scottie Pippen and Dickie Simpkins on the left side of the floor. But the whole underneath part of the basket is empty as the Bulls raised up, and the Knicks followed suit and left that driving opportunity for Pippen.
Anthony Mason has fouled out. 8.6 rebounds for Mason, and now the Knicks are short-handed. Ewing fouled out, Starks ejected. Charles Smith has 5 fouls. Mason is gone. The Knicks without another forward, Anthony Bonner, who's back home in St. Louis for the funeral of his father. His dad passed away last week after suffering a stroke. Front line of Herb Williams with Charles Oakley and Charles Smith. The Knicks take a timeout. Pippen is now 11 of 17 at the line. Minute 35 left in overtime. The Bulls lead by 3 points. Minute 35 remaining in overtime here in Chicago. The Bulls 105 and the Knicks 102. Knicks with a 4-game losing streak on the line. They come in at 12 and 11, and Chicago at the 500 mark at 12 and 12. High man of the game, Scottie Pippen, with 34 points, 2 away from a season high. Also has 16 rebounds. Also has all of the 5 Bulls points in overtime. Smith tried to put a move on Kukoc and nearly was stripped. Last touch by Kukoc.
And nearly walked as it looked like he faked left, went right. Pat Riley took that timeout to kind of regroup and made sure his team was on the same page and knew what he wanted them to do offensively. They come out of that timeout for an isolation for Charles Smith. You don't normally see that, but the Knicks don't have a whole healthy respect for Tony Kukoc's ability defensively out on the floor or inside.
The Knicks are having trouble locating a shot. Down to 10 on the 24. Lumberman on a switch. Herb Williams gets it off. Herb Williams brings the Knicks within 1. A minute 17 remaining.
Well, the Knicks are just flying by the seat of their pants right now offensively, not really sure where the offense is going to come from. They're so used to having Patrick Ewing and John Starks on the floor in these kinds of situations where they normally run their their two-man plays.
Next foul by the Knicks will put them over at 11. Pippen on the drive. Yes! Scottie Pippen again. That equals his season high. He has 36. The Bulls lead by 3.
And all 7 of Chicago's points in this overtime.
Stopped by Armstrong, played him well. Here's Williams, coming up short, rebounded by Purdue. Herb Williams has been shooting very well. He's over 60% his last 11 games, but you do not look to Herb Williams as your go-to guy. Down to 20 seconds.
Difference of 11 on the shot clock. There's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. The Knicks don't want to foul here. They want to get a stop.
Good coach, rebound Williams. And a foul is called on the Bulls. But that is only their second team foul. It's on Kukoc.
Well, Scottie Pippen has been thinking drive all night. He feels he can beat any of the Knicks defenders, gets through the seam, goes up for the sky hook, and able to knock it down for his 7th point in this overtime. He gave his team a 3-point lead.
And the Knicks take a timeout with 11 and 6/10 seconds remaining in this 5-minute overtime. When we resume, it will be Knick ball. The Knicks have 1 timeout left. Chicago with 3 and a 20. And that man has had a magnificent Christmas night here at the United Center. 36 points, along with 16 rebounds and 5 steals. Tony Kukoc also providing a spark. Knicks down by 3. Looking to set up Davis, who was picked up on a switch. Final seconds, they can't find the shot. Davis this time is blocked by Pippen, and time runs out on the Knicks. Pippen again stops Smith. The Chicago Bulls winning 2 in a row for the first time here at the United Center. They have defeated the Knicks in overtime 107 to 104. They are now 13 and 12. The Knicks fall to 500. 12 up, 12 down. They have lost 5 in a row. And for the first time in the coaching career of Pat Riley, he has lost 5 straight. Let's go over to Ahmad Rashad with the star of the game, Scottie Pippen. Here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Scottie, you guys have had your difficulties during the course of the season, but today you put it all together.
Yeah, we did. I think the last couple games we've started playing better. Guys are getting their confidence, and especially Tony. He's given us a lot coming off the bench.
How about you? You took over in this overtime, scored all the points.
Well, I think the thing about us in overtime, we were a little back on our heels because we felt like we should have won the game in regulation. So I just tried to take over down the stretch of the game and create things for my team, and I was able to get to the basket.
Who said this place isn't loud enough? This place rocks.
I wasn't the one saying. It's a great place.
All right. Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
All right, back to you, Mark.
All right, Ahmad, yes, it was rocking here tonight on Christmas night at the United Center. Again, the final in overtime. The Bulls 107 and the Knicks 104. Coming up next on NBC, a special 2-hour presentation, Earth 2, First Contact. From Matt Kukoc and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from the United Center in Chicago. This has been the NBA